All right, all right, all right. I'm live, and I know there's nobody watching right now because I didn't advertise this live. And I have like three. I just have a couple subscribers on my website. I mean, on my YouTube page, and I've never been live before. This is my first live on YouTube, so I'm pretty excited about this. But I'm doing this, I guess, number one for a couple of reasons. Number one, to educate all of you out there, but number two, to get some practice on how to do this, as I plan on doing this more and more. Not only to educate, but for business development reasons for myself, right? To get more clients. So that's why I'm here this afternoon. It's 1:28 in the afternoon on Tuesday, a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in Southern Connecticut, which is where I am. And my name is Paolo Romanacci. I am the head of sales for a company called Compulse. Compulse is a uh, is a marketing, technology, and managed services company. We have a wonderful, beautiful marketing technology tech stack, which would take advertisers, agencies, and media companies, give them a very concise and consolidated and streamlined way of going from sort of idea with a customer or beginning of a relationship with customer all the way through the advertising sales process and implementation and execution and reporting. And it just streamlines everything beautifully in this beautiful UI, which is white labeled. We have that piece of technology called Compulse 360, but we also are a managed services company. Managed services meaning that we execute online digital marketing campaigns for advertising agencies, media companies, and also direct advertisers as well. And our calling card in that space, I would say, without a doubt, is CTV. We are very, very, very well regarded in the CTV space, and that's for a bunch of reasons. And that is because we have a really wonderful price versus value sort of combination there. We have what I think are the lowest prices in the marketplace, extending your reach in every single campaign by 30 to 50%. That's how much lower our prices are. But we also have just the best in inventory. So everything that we do streams on, Netflix, on networks like Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max and Sling and ESPN, really quality inventory on big screens at a low price. Lastly, we couple that with the best in class analytics and execution and optimization for our CTV campaigns for our clients. So that's why I say that CTV, it really is our calling card. It's my calling card. That's kind of how I go to market and try to grow my business when I'm reaching out to advertisers, agencies, and media companies. I talk about those things specifically. But today, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about, this is for business owners and business marketers. We are going to talk about CTV advertising and why it matters for your business. And there are a lot of reasons why it does matter. CTV has been growing by leaps and bounds over the last, 5 years, over the last 3 years, even more so. And that's because advertisers more and more are jumping onto the CTV bandwagon because it has so many benefits. CTV does. Not only is it just a beautiful visual medium, it's like television is and was in the old days. So you really get to tell your story, and you really get to showcase your brand and your business in ways that other forms of media don't allow you to. But number two, it brings you back into the home. It brings you onto the big screen where people are paying attention and watching because they're watching their favorite programming. And it really gets your message out, and it motivates watchers of your ads to go ahead and take some sort of action. So CTV is really growing like gangbusters for those reasons. And also in terms of other advertising forms, I think a lot of business owners and marketers are finding that the returns on ad spend, the returns they're getting from advertising in their traditional digital media space like Facebook, Instagram, and Google AdWords has really been decreasing quite a bit over the last few years for a variety of reasons. It's become more and more expensive, for one, but two, I don't think the attention is there like it once was. People just aren't paying attention to ads like they once were on those mediums. And so that's why CTV really has carved out a very, very nice niche in the marketplace. So today we're we're going to talk about why CTV is important and why you should consider it for your business. So why it matters now. Streaming overtook cable in TV viewing in 2022. So as of 2022, there are more people watching streaming TV than they are traditional cable. I don't know if you are in your household, but I've been a cord cutter for at least 6 or 7 years that I cut cable and switched to YouTube TV. I'm never looking back. And of course, no one is looking back, right? That's how we're all getting our entertainment these days, is through streaming platforms. Even if you're not a cord cutter, you're certainly watching Netflix and Hulu and other streaming platforms on top of your cable. So the viewership is definitely there. 87% of households have at least one streaming device in their home. Yeah, that's no secret there. And everybody's watching streaming, whether it's little kids, Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, even baby boomers. Everybody's watching some sort of programming for the most part on streaming television. So the audience is there. And if the audience is there as an advertiser and someone who wants to promote your business, that's where you need to be also. By the way, again, I know probably no one is listening here because this is my first stream. But if you are and you have a comment, question, please leave it in the chat box, and I will go ahead and answer that question to the best of my ability. So let's move along here. So everybody's watching streaming TV. But how does it work? How does CTV advertising itself work? So CTV advertising is really no different than traditional TV advertising. You're going to have a commercial. It's going to be 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds long for the most part. It's best that obviously that you have a great commercial with a great unique selling proposition, like what makes your business different, better than the competition, why you as opposed to anybody else, and it should have a terrific call to action. But essentially, those ads are delivered through the streaming devices. So you might have a Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Smart TV, Apple TV Plus, Samsung TV, whatever it may be, and you're watching a television on there. They're going to have traditional ad breaks like any other television programming would. And the difference, though, is that with regular TV, where if I was watching the local TV station, let's say here in Connecticut, Channel 8, when there's a television commercial break, I'm going to see the ad that everybody else is going to see. So if I'm a roofer, it's going to be the roofing ad. Everybody's going to see that same roofing ad, which you would say, well, that's good. Everybody's seeing my ad. But the thing is that you're paying for the entire audience when you buy when you buy an ad on a TV network, right? So you're saying the TV station says, hey, there's 150,000 people that are watching this program at this time, and we are going to charge you accordingly. That's per cost per thousand based on how many people are watching. The issue is in that roofer case is that not everybody needs a roof, right? I mean, of those 150,000 people that you're paying for to show the ad to, only a small fraction of those people need a roof or even own a home for that matter. So what CTV allows you to do is to advertise just to those specific people that are, let's say, homeowners or homeowners who are doing research on roof replacement or roof cost quotes, who are in the midst of remodeling, maybe homeowners who have just taken out a home equity loan, which is a great indicator that they're going to do some sort of home repairs or remodeling and things like that. So we're only going to show the ad to those households where they've shown that interest. And what that means to you is that more of your budget is going to go to those specific people who are most likely to become your customers, right? And that's the big difference between like regular broadcast linear TV and connected TV, is that the targeting is really phenomenal of what you can do. And on CTV, there's OTT, which I'm sure you heard of, over the top television, and there's CTV. What I'm talking about here and what I sell is CTV. It's connected TV. That means big screen hanging on your wall, by the way. And so it's going to be on a big screen environment as opposed to anything on mobile, desktop, or laptop. So where do the ads show? You can see here there's a variety of streaming platforms now. There's Hulu, Sling, HBO Max, Warner Brothers, Paramount Plus, CBS, NBC, Fox, Tubi. Like there's just a million of them, honestly. we tend to here at Compulse focus on the premium networks. That's kind of the logos you see here. That's where I got this slide from. So we're going to focus on premium because we believe there is value in having your ad shown on premium networks. It's usually a more engaged audience. They usually pay to get that service, so they're a more qualified audience. They actually pay money, and it's going to be in a big screen environment with better targeting, and also it's going to be brand safe for you and your business. So that's where the ads are going to run. Again, 100% on big screens here where I work. I talked about some of this before. So it's a highly targeted reach. I could show you our targeting, what we call segments, all the different targeting options you have for your campaign. There's over 50 or 60,000 of them. So no matter what business that you're in, we have the ability to target those kinds of specific people. If you want people who are wealthy, but like to go fishing and live in Wisconsin, we could target people like that. If you want people who like pickleball and they also like, gourmet food and, and playing golf on the weekends, we could target those people. Doesn't really matter how you want to slice and dice and cross marry those targeting segments. We have them available for your business, and we could choose them. And again, only show the ads in households where people like that live. Again, we run on premium content during high quality streaming shows. And the next big differentiator between CTV and what you get with regular television is our ability to measure and track performance and determine what kind of an ROI you've gotten on the campaign. ROI meaning return on investment. So you spent, let's say, $5,000 on an ad campaign. You want to know that you got not only $5,000, but $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in business or opportunity or whatever, depending on what your business is, right? And so CTV allows us to measure who's seen the ads, then who's come to your website, who's made a purchase, who's filled out a lead form, all those different things, and it allows us to optimize the campaign in increments in the long run. But it also allows you to have an understanding of what am I getting for all of this money that I'm paying for my ad campaign, which in a lot of cases with a lot of digital, a lot of things that advertisers spend their money on, those results aren't really there a lot of the time. Or if they are, they're a little bit sketchy. They're a little bit, I don't want to say sketchy. They're a little bit in the gray area. So CTV allows you to have not only that comfort that you're getting your money's worth, but it also allows the people who are executing the campaign on your behalf, us in this case, to make that campaign stronger, better, leaner, more effective as time goes on. So each month you're getting better and better returns for your ad spend. I'm kind of talking at a fast clip here, because I know that I normally would welcome questions and I invite questions, but I'm sure I don't think there's anybody watching, so I can't tell. Anyway, what kind of statistics can we get? Well, we could measure a lot of different things, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to mention reach and frequency. That's a kind of a traditional television metric, like how many people have seen your ad, and on average, how many times have those people seen it. So 5,000 individual people have seen the ad at 3 times each, that kind of thing. That's reach and that's frequency. We can measure brand recall. We can measure brand lift. We can measure foot traffic attribution. That means people have seen your ad and then after having seen it have come into your place of business, or if you have multiple locations, multiple places of business. So we can measure what kind of foot traffic we're driving through your doors of your business. We can measure purchases online. We can measure website traffic, form fills. If you need leads, if you're a home services business or an attorney or a college, we can measure how many leads, how many open house or how many college applications, or open house registrations, whatever it is that you're collecting information, we can measure how many of those our campaign has driven to your website and has what we call converted, meaning turned into actual business and money and dollars for you. The cost of running CTV campaigns is really all over the board depending on where you're going and what you're getting. But on average, you can comfortably predict that you're going to spend anywhere from $20 to, you know, with a lot of vendors, 50 or 60 or $70 cost per thousand impressions, meaning for every ad, for every 1,000 ads that are streamed, showed, it's going to be like 30, 40, 50, $60. At Compulse, we have much more attractive price points, I would say, but depending on where you go, you could pay a lot of money, and you can also pay a lot of money for streamers that are like really kind of budget streamers, meaning you're being charged way too much for that. So that's something to be careful of. But I would say from a reputable DSP, demand service, demand side platform like we are, I would say, you're going to pay anywhere on average, probably about $28, $29, $30 CPM, something like that. Compulse, we save our partners anywhere from 20 to 50% on the cost of media, but that's a different story. We can talk about that if you choose to book a meeting with me. We can go through all that kind of different stuff. All right, who should use CTV? This is like any business that needs more customers can leverage CTV advertising in a positive way to grow their business and get more customers. So that's a really big universe of people. But more specifically, smaller businesses, local businesses, anybody who's, if you're targeting if you deal in specific zip codes, for instance, or counties or states, you're a local advertiser, whether you're in retail, auto, legal, whether you're an accountant, it doesn't really matter what business. If you deal with locally with if that's your customer base is the local population, CTV is wonderful for that. It works wonders for restaurants as well. So restaurants are more increasingly turning to CTV advertising because of the visuals and the immersiveness of the medium. Great for CTV advertising. Obviously it could showcase their food and the vibe and all that stuff. So that's great. But it also works great for e-commerce. Our platform is a performance CTV platform, meaning we're optimizing that campaign like you would on, Meta, Google AdWords, or Meta, Facebook, Instagram. But we're using the same kind of data and making the same kind of optimizations to make the campaign even more profitable every single day. So e-commerce, it's great for any kind of retail, any business where you're trying to drive traffic through the doors. Perfect for CTV. And of course, healthcare is a big one. Healthcare and education are big ones. They invest a lot of money in CTV. But again, just about any business can use CTV. Even now we're seeing B2B, like business to business advertisers turning to CTV, especially for recruitment and things like that. They are turning more increasingly to CTV because that's where, that's where the eyeballs are, the eyeballs with attention. So anytime you can get in front of your audience and grab their attention, obviously it's a great place to advertise. So I want to talk a little bit about, because a lot of people who would normally see this, if I had an audience, a lot of people who would see this have probably advertised on Facebook or Instagram. And what we're seeing and what the trends show is that a lot of advertisers are shifting budgets away from that platform and into CTV. A big reason for that is that there's a lot of new privacy rules with Facebook, right? And a lot of the kinds of targeting and optimizations that were once available to advertisers are no longer there. And so they have seen their return on ad spend decrease from their investments in Facebook and Instagram marketing. And so a lot of those dollars have shifted over to CTV. Also, a lot of TV dollars, like traditional broadcast and cable TV dollars, have shifted into CTV. But why would you advertise on CTV over social media ads? I'm specifically talking about Facebook, Instagram, but you could also say TikTok as well. CTV ads are viewed longer, so there's more attention. There's studies that show that, and there's higher brand recall. But The reason for that is when you're scrolling, people, when you start to scroll, it becomes you're just mindlessly scrolling, and your thumb moves very, very quickly. And a lot of that stuff, and even if your ad shows on for like a half a second or 1 second, I forget what the exact metric is, they're counting that as an impression. That doesn't mean people are actually watching your ad. And so that's the huge difference between CTV and social. On CTV, the ads that we sell are non-skippable, full, and they're in full episodic programming on the wall, on a TV set. And it's very hard to change the channel with CTV. It's not like cable where you just hit the back button or dial or type in the channel number that you want. You have to go back, go into the menu, scroll, find the channel you want, and then click on it. So a lot of people don't generally change the channel in the middle of programming. And so for that reason, our ads, our average on Compulse is nearly 98% of the ads that we serve through our CTV are watched in their entirety. 98%. That means when your ads are on the wall, they are not getting skipped. They're not getting, they're not getting the changing the channel, whatever. The ads are being seen, they're being watched, and studies show that brand recall from TV ads and CTV ads is through the roof and much, much higher than anything else you could do online. Trust is another one. So there is a lot of mistrust, obviously, on Facebook, on Instagram, and TikTok. There's just a lot of scammy stuff on there. And not that your brand would necessarily be viewed as scammy, but I think that there is much more legitimacy, let's put it that way, for ads on TV. If you're on TV, you automatically raise the bar in terms of how people see you, that your status, because you're on TV. And I think that's a big, huge difference between, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, and CTV ads. Another thing is less restrictive targeting. I talked a little bit about this a couple minutes earlier, but Facebook has eliminated a lot of different kinds of targeting that they used to have for privacy reasons, because they got into trouble a few years ago. So to remedy that, they got rid of a lot of the stuff that really made social media advertising really laser focused and effective. So that's not available anymore. As I mentioned to you earlier, we have over 50, 60,000 different targeting types, and we're far less restrictive. We can, on CTV, we can advertise just about any product except, like guns, cigarettes, drugs. There's like a few things that can't be advertised on CTV. Not so with social media, as they're much, much more restrictive. I talked about screen size, and I also talked about attention span. The attention span obviously is much, much better on CTV than it is on Facebook, Instagram. Case studies. I was going to talk about case studies in this stream, but I figured I'm going to do a stream maybe just on case studies and go into it. But I will say that we do have plenty of case studies, successful stories of brands and businesses, local, regional, national, who have used our CTV platform to generate a lot of business profitably and grow their businesses. And I have case studies for automotive. I have case studies for legal, for furniture, for home services like windows and HVAC. I have case studies for quick service dining places, restaurants, everything. I mean, I have case studies for everything because we've been doing this a long time. And if you want one, by the way, I have a link in the description here. There you go. Book a meeting with me. You could book a meeting with me, and I'll not only share the platform, go over the platform with you, but also share case studies that are relevant to you and your business. So you can go ahead and do that. Also, in the description of this video, I created like a white paper, like a 10-page white paper on how to run an effective CTV campaign, how to do targeting, all that kind of stuff. You can just go ahead and click on that link and download that for free, and I'll send that over to you as well. And that'll give you a more in-depth look at what it takes to run a successful CTV campaign. So be sure to book a meeting with me, link in the description. And I'll be happy to talk to you about all and any of this stuff. All right, so moving along here, budgeting for CTV. So we don't have really a minimum budget for CTV. You can start with as little as $500 and run your campaign. But with any kind of advertising, not just CTV, you need to make sure that your budget meets the sort of mission of the campaign, and you're only going to get back into it what you put out, right? So if you if your budget is too small, let me put it that way, you are just not going to get the kind of attention and the numbers and the reach and the frequency that you need to make a successful campaign. But we have businesses that run in just one zip code, right? And so their budgets are very small. And we have advertisers who run nationally and their budgets are huge. So that's really going to depend on your business, where you operate, what you want to focus on, who your audience is, which platforms and streamers you want to run on. We decide to run on things like that are going to determine how much money your budget should be. CPMs, as I said earlier, are going to range anywhere between 20, 40, and 20 and 40, 50, 60 dollars per thousand. With us, you can run campaigns on a month-to-month basis, a monthly basis. There's no long-term contracts. And we would do budgeting, as I said just a minute ago, based on goals and things like that. So budgeting is a conversation after you decide, hey, I want to go ahead and give this a try. Okay, what's it going to cost me? What do I need to do? Getting started. So, and you can find more of this. You can find more of this in the guide that you can click on in the description and download. But we're basically, if you wanted to run a campaign, we have an excellent staff that they are strategic account managers, and they would help you. They would say, okay, who's our target audience? Where do they live? What do they like? Those kinds of things. And then we would start to build a campaign from like what your goals are, who your audience is, what streamers we want to run on, and then decide what kind of ads you want to run, things of that nature. So there's kind of a multi-step process to getting started. And then we would go ahead and launch the campaign, and then we would monitor, we would optimize that campaign as we went along. I didn't put it in this presentation, but I do want to take a second and talk about creative. The creative is, when I started in this business, creative would be like the kind of the one thing that there would be businesses that I would sell a CTV campaign to some businesses, and then they said, oh, now we have to make an ad for the TV, right? It's a TV ad, it's 30-second, 60-second ad. And that's where kind of the deal would die. Like they would try to get it started. They could never get it off the ground. They didn't know what they wanted to do, all that kind of good stuff. And that kind of prevented a lot of small businesses, especially smaller businesses, from going ahead and running a CTV campaign. Those days are no longer. We actually have a solution for that. We can create an ad for you based on any kind of footage or photos or logos that you give us. We can use a combination of stock footage and logos and your stuff and whatever it may be. And then we have a department that would write the script, put the ad together, create the voiceover, add music, and they come out really, really good, and they're very effective ads. And we could do that. We could have that done in just a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. So having the creative itself, the TV ad itself, should not be a burden to anybody on this call that's interested in running a CTV campaign going forward. Moving on, final takeaways. Okay, so we're basically at the end here. So final takeaways are, number one, CTV obviously is engaging, memorable, and highly targetable. So CTV, again, think it's on your wall. It's like the old days of television, and that's where everybody's watching TV. I have teenagers. They don't watch any kind of like programming on regular channels. Everything they watch is on streaming TV. I think more and more so, most people are watching, it's appointment television, and they're watching most of the television now via, some sort of a streaming device that they have either on their TV, or if it's a smart TV or whatever it may be. So highly engaging, measurable, and highly targeted advertising. You're going to be able to, once again, have your ads shown to precisely those households and those people who are going to be in your crosshairs, that going to be in your wheelhouse of people you want to get your message in front of. Again, let's go back to roofing. If you had a roofing company, you are going to show those ads to people who are homeowners that have a house of a certain value, maybe, that are currently shopping for roofing quotes, right? or they're shopping around for, like, they're in the process of remodeling, or they taking out a home equity loan, things like that. That's going to do wonders for your business as opposed to the spray and pray method. If you're an early adopter uh, in your area where you live and you work, that's going to give you a great edge. A lot of local businesses, believe it or not, haven't jumped on to the bandwagon yet. They're still doing things the old way. They're still I see businesses still buying ads in the newspaper, and nobody reads the newspaper anymore, right? And so if you are like one of the early adopters here, meaning one of the first to market on streaming TV in your area, that's going to give you a huge leg up. And again, video is the best sales tool that there is. It beats print, obviously. It beats static ads and social media ads, because they're immersive. They engage people. People watch them. They pay attention. And the studies show higher brand recall from people having watched and seen your CTV ads. I think that's it. So I just want to wrap up by saying, if you have any questions, obviously, again, click on my link in the description, and I'll be happy. We'll take 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it takes, to go through your situation so you can learn more, so you can get more information. I'll be happy to do it. That's my direct calendar booking link. So it's not like you don't have to do anything. Just book a time in my calendar and we're good to go. Again, for my free strategy document, download that. That's in the description as well. And I just want to reiterate, I think I'm an evangelist for CTV. I've been selling CTV, 6 or 7 years at this point. So a long time. I've been doing it a long time. And this really is the greatest opportunity since the beginning of Google AdWords, in my opinion, or the beginning of Facebook, 15 or 20 years ago ads. So early adopters, as I said before, have a huge advantage. And it doesn't take a lot to get started. It doesn't cost a lot to get running. And I think it's something that will separate your business from the competitors in your space, whether you're in retail, restaurant, home services, legal, education, healthcare, auto, doesn't really matter. CTV is an economical and profitable way to advertise your business over the short term and also the long term. So reach out to me. Again, I work for Compulse. My calendar link is in the description below. I think that it's worth your time to investigate it, look into it, get some pricing, and see what it can do for your business. So I thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end this stream. I don't even know if it's live. I don't even know if it's honestly, because I didn't check it. So I hope it's live. I hope it recorded, but we're gonna check it out after this. And hey, be sure to like and subscribe too. I'm trying to grow this thing as well. Thanks very much, and I'll talk to you soon.